AWA Southern Heavyweight Champion Jimmy Hart, who took that throne from Jerry the King Lawler. And so we will follow our practice, and here is the new Southern Heavyweight champ. I say jokingly. It's a laugh.
Jokingly, huh?
Set the whole Southern Heavyweight thing back 15 years with that farce match that you had in.
Well, let me just say something right now, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at the new Southern Heavyweight Champion. Let's get, oh, hey, that's right. You love me, don't you? Well, you know what? I feel so good. You know, in music, I had a gold record, right?
Yeah.
And now in wrestling, this is the best thing. Look, the cameramen are so asleep, they can't even get a shot of the belt. Here, boys, let me help you out. Look at this jewel, baby. It's Jimmy Hart's forever. I am the Southern Heavyweight Champion, and I'm going to stay the Southern Heavyweight Champion. What do you think about that, Russell?
Well, I hear you talking, Jimmy, but that doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that the way you won it in a completely loaded match, it was incredible it should have been, and you do have the Southern Heavyweight belt. You've added that to the family collection.
Well, let me just say this. The family is the greatest thing that ever happened in professional wrestling. I am the greatest thing that ever happened in professional wrestling. Lawler is finished. He's washed up. You know, once there was a Jackie Fargo, and he was sitting high on the crown here in town, and everybody thought he was the greatest thing. And then came along a smart punk by the name of Jerry Lawler, and he knocked him right off. Well, now, Lawler, your day has come, brother, because there's a smart punk on the scene now named Jimmy Hart. I am the new Southern Weight Champion. You don't even have enough fans anymore, baby, to pack a phone booth, and that's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, I want you to stand right here. You stand right here. I've got an interview that Jerry Lawler on the explanation of that entire situation. I think it's only fair that we stand
look, I don't want to hear no film on Lawler. He's not down here today because he's ashamed to even show his face, baby. I'm the Southern Champion. I'm not staying for nothing. You can watch the film and go to sleep with everybody else out here.
That figures just exactly about what you would do. You don't have the guts to stand out here. Let's take a listen in a bizarre situation that Jerry Lawler.
Well, I would imagine that by now, Jimmy Hart is strutting all around the TV station there with the Southern Heavyweight Championship belt around that little skinny waist of his. Mighty happy that he is the new champion. And I would imagine that everybody is wondering just exactly how this happened. I've been asking myself that same question all week long, but I'd like to take just a second here to explain, or try to explain a little bit about how it did take place. You see, a few weeks ago, the promoters came to myself and Bill and several of the other wrestlers around the area, and they asked them if you could have any kind of match that you wanted with any kind of stipulation involving any other wrestler, what would be the match that you would want? What would be your dream match? And at the time, I just thought they were, you know, it was just a fantasy type thing, wondering what kind of match we would ask for. So I naturally wanted a match with Hart involved, and Hart wanted a match with me involved, and all of the wrestlers came up with some sort of a crazy match with a lot of stipulations where it was one-sided, stacked in their favor. And then a little while later, the promoters came back to me and they said, if you could have your chance to get your dream match, would you agree to be in anybody else, to be involved in anybody else's dream match and the stipulations that they've asked for? Well, I had to think for just a second, and I said, yes, I would. Because when I went into that match where the winner of the match would get his dream match, I felt certain that I would win the match. I knew I'd beat one of those punks, and then I'd get to have my dream match with Hart, or at least one of my teammates would win the match. You know, every time I step into the ring, I feel like I'm going to win. If a wrestler goes in the ring doubting whether or not he's going to win the match, he usually won't win. Well, the thing didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to, and we didn't come out on the right end of the match. We didn't win it, and so, because I had previously agreed, I had to go into the ring in Hart's dream match. And I had to wear I had to put boxing gloves on to where if I did get to hit him, it'd be a padded blow. And I was against Hart, and the Southern Heavyweight Championship belt was at stake. But to top it all off, Kevin Sullivan and Wayne Ferris were the two referees. Well, Well, it was a completely one-sided match, all right, all in Jimmy Hart's favor. Every time I would grab him, they would be right there to pull him off of me. Every time I'd try to hit him, they would come in between us. I realized I didn't have a chance about halfway through the thing, and I even tried to hit one of them to get disqualified, but no, he didn't disqualify me, and that's how I wound up losing the Southern Heavyweight Championship. Well, let me tell you something, Hart. For years now, I've been mighty proud of that belt. I consider it my belt. I'm as proud of that belt as any belt in the country, the World Championship or whatever. The Southern Heavyweight Championship belt is my belt. And I'm going to tell you this, punk, and I'm going to promise all you people out there that right now Jimmy Hart has that belt around his waist, but Hart, I'm making you this promise. You will never, no matter what I have to do, you will never be able to defend that belt the first time. You remember that, punk.
Okay, there it is. Jerry Lawler, I will say he was a man of his word. He agreed to go in there. I think there was some misunderstanding that both Hart and Lawler had the gloves on. That is not correct. The stipulation was that Lawler would wear gloves. He was man enough to stand up to it, and he paid the price because he never thought it would take place. And that is the way that number goes. Hey, listen, we've still got the Nightmares. We got Steve Kerr and Roy Rogers as their opponent.